So, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, man, I'm good. It's exciting times to a certain extent in the Washington DC area.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been I think for me, it's been a slow week on Washington news this front.
Well, when you think about the, I know we'll probably mention it in the pod later, but when you're looking at the Josh Harris and I spoke to the finance guys yesterday, and and everything seems to be going ahead nicely. So whatever they've done, they've sorted out the problems there. So again, all good signs, man. So it's exciting times, man.
Very exciting time. So we'll dip into that, which is our first segment of news. And we'll start there then, Scouts, mate. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So, the sale of the team, the finance committee met yesterday on Wednesday, the 7th of June. Jim Irsay has came out and said he was impressed. And from all intents and purposes, what we've seen from reports that have came out from the Washington Post, the local journal.
Why is he even involved, man? Why is Irsay even involved?
Because he's part of this. He's part of this 8 committees.
Just stick back to the coke. Stay away from our team. And piss off. Do you know what I mean?
He's part of the 8 team that's there's eight owners that are on the finance committee.
Replace him. He's a bum.
But they've all come back and said that it looks good. They're happy. It was a positive meeting. It went really well, and that they're expecting the approval to be next month, mid-July. All said and done. Josh Harris and Mitchell Reyes came out all smiles, so it looks from smiling for the camera and whatever else, it's looking good. So we're getting a step closer now.
That's what I mean, man. This is going to be done, man, before, I reckon, the first pre-season game, I reckon.
It has to be,
I reckon it'll be all signed, sealed, delivered by August. And I think, it's just going to be part A time.
Let's hope so. We just want that communication out, don't we? That it's official.
Actually, we just want it. Yeah, we just want
when it's official.
Yeah, and then we can sort out Cam Curl's contract as well. So,
yeah. Well, interestingly enough, in other news, I listened to Ron Rivera's press conference just before we got on a pod here, and he mentioned that. I think the question was out there for free agents from one of the local journalists who said, "Look, what are you doing about free agency? Have you taken anything differently because of the sale?" And he said, "Yeah, basically, we're talking to agents and telling them we're on pause, we're on hold, because we don't know who's signing contracts and who's playing players, which it will have its detrimental effect on the team, no doubt about it. I'm pretty certain that Ron would have wanted to, maybe try and get some better depth within the side. But I do think that he is happy with what he's got from what he's mentioned in his press conference there. But also in his press conference, will mention where he started. So he started off with Sam Howell. The question was asked that has Sam, done enough to remain QB1? And he said, absolutely. Going into training camp, Sam Howell will be QB1 as it stands. He does need to work on his footwork a bit more, which is what they anticipated from last season. Seems that he's got the playbook down and they're quite happy with what he's been doing. I had noticed as well that all of these practices that we've had over the past week or so, everything has been geared towards the passing game. No running whatsoever. And the defense have just been left to kind of get on with it. So this is them setting Sam Howell up to say, look, new playbook, all your weapons are here. We know what we are targeting, which was red zone opportunities and the opportunities that we get further down the field by using your talent that you have in your arm and the design plays to, scramble out on the run and just get that all locked down and in sync with the receivers, with the tight ends, with the running backs out in the, going out into the slot and into the backfield.
Yeah, man, it's installs, isn't it? It's installs, and that's how you do it. You break it down into bits, don't you? And I think, as I say, it's all about the passing game and probably like protections and stuff like that, probably for the O-line, but also for Sam Howell is he the one who's going to be changing the play, not changing the players in audibles, but I mean in kind of changing, setting the protections, or is it down to the center, and also just playing with that a little bit as well. And I just think I think when you see good and bad, it's obviously dependent on the play call, what he's comfortable with, what not just the play call as in what he's saying, but what the actual play actually is, and to know exactly where to be at the right time and all that sort of timing and all the rest of it. And I think a lot, and sometimes defenses, no, if you've got a good defense, they will still make you work, even though you're not hitting them yet. Do you know what I mean? Or and those type things, they're going to make you work. So, and our defense, I think is literally one of the best in the NFL. So,
yeah, I do too.
So that's why you're going to get good days and bad days from Sam. Do you know what I mean? At the moment.
So again, today, Scouts, was a bit of a bad day for Sam by all accounts around the throw-in. Back-to-back picks, one to Troy Apke, of all people, the legend that is Troy Apke. So he's picked off Dotson and he's picked off Doxson as well. So that's interesting. And then he's been here that long. And we also got Percy Butler as well. Got a interception as well. So
was anything tipped, or was it just literally
thrown, just straight throws?
Because I know there was, I don't know if it was yesterday or he threw a pick, but it was basically would have been a defensive pass interference or something, because he basically pulled some guy down and tipped up in the air, and the guy caught it, But I don't know if that was the same as today or not.
No, these were straight throws back to back, just straight poor throws, but it happens. He's a rookie. We're going to go through these growing processes.
Yeah, well, you got to treat him like a rookie, haven't you?
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's a second-year player, but he hasn't played. He's not got a great amount of game time.
And obviously, this is a brand new offense.
It is. We've had various different press conferences from various players over these last couple of days. Charles Leno spoke and basically said he wasn't they weren't bothered at all about him being away. And obviously he knows the majority of this offense through his time at Chicago, running it with Matt Nagy. So he's quite comfortable with what is being installed. We listened to Chase Young as well. And that's obviously something that we've got on here. He's back. He looks good. Yes, he's wearing a knee brace, but he's looked good.
Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter to me.
Good.
If it gives him that extra 1% confidence in that knee, let him wear the brace, because it doesn't even look that much like one of those restricted ones. Like you see, like the old linemen use, the really restricted heavy metal ones and all that. It doesn't seem to be like that. So for me, it's just let him wear it. If it makes him happy, let him wear it.
Yeah, I haven't got a problem with it at all. No, I'm just glad he's back and looks like he's firing as well. Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin working well again. Loads of deflections, loads of tip balls, as you mentioned, pass breakups. Apparently, Emmanuel Forbes is getting right on it, but quite at the moment, we've still got to temper this a little bit. They're not wearing pads. No one's hitting. I get it, but as you said, the defense is there. It means that we're going to be, it's getting better. And what were we bad on? We were bad on takeaways last year. So you bring in two ball,
and he's the main guy. Yeah,
he is the main guy. But you bring in two of them in Quan Martin and Emmanuel Forbes. Them DBs are going to make the difference to this. To bring it from were we fifth last year or fourth best defense? I can't remember which one we were. We're there or thereabouts. Definitely
I think it was third. I think it was third overall. Actually.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. I think
we were that high, and then on takeaways we were like 28th or something.
Yeah, so
something bad.
If you can perform the same way you performed last year with a third ranked defense and bring that takeaways up, you're going to be talking top one or two. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, there is a situation here as well where we may have corners or outside corners as Quan Martin and Emmanuel Forbes at one stage.
Well, yeah, you like to think you wouldn't stick Martin out there too much, but I understand he has got that flexibility. He can do a little bit of that, but I mean, for me, he's that nickel for me, man. That Buffalo nickel. 100%. That's going to be his main position, and do a little bit extra else if injuries or whatever, But I mean, I'm excited, man. I mean, this defense, man. It's if you stay healthy, mate. This is going to be like a Denver defense that used to be, when Peyton Manning was jacked, when he was knackered and he still won a Super Bowl because the defense was just that good. Or like a Baltimore defense when they won the Super Bowl, their defense was unbelievable. This defense could be that close. It really could. I know you could pick holes and say, linebackers aren't great, but look at the DB depth now.
But look at the DB linebackers. This is the misconception by a lot of our fans, and I don't mean
two max.
Take it out there. It's never more than two, and generally it's one. Do you know what I mean? We don't play with that many linebackers.
I mean, you look at the DB depth, man. That is looking deep.
Well, Percy Butler's not even getting a look in. I mean, does this push Does this push Saint Goat down? You know, as you call him, Benjamin Saint Goat.
It really can, because he was our best corner before he got hurt last season, and then that's when Fuller took over the mantle, and he was outstanding after St. Just went down. So yes, and then obviously you got four. Are you going to leave your first round 16th overall draft pick on the bench?
No,
unlikely.
He's starting outside.
So at the moment, the way it's looking, it's Saint Goat that's going to be kind of like losing his position at the moment, and that's insane, because we wouldn't have thought about that 6 months ago. You think, oh, he's nailed on starter. Now you're thinking,
absolutely
borderline now. You know,
I mean, I was still thinking to myself, they could still cut Kendall depending on the depth, but now I'm looking at that and saying, absolutely no way now, because that is a pure veteran that you need in there. And when we look at it and we think about it, when you think about a veteran who's paid quite well, you think to yourself, oh, he's getting on, he's old. He's not even that old, Kendall.
27, isn't he? 27.
Yeah, something like that. Just turned 27.
Yeah, he's not old.
And then when you're releasing,
you do think he's older, though. You do think he's older.
You do. When you release people like Cam Dantzler, now he may have had issues off the field, on the field. There's a reason why you get cut as well from Minnesota, and then you end up here taking a chance on him.
Well, he did get burned a lot, didn't he? I mean, that was the problem. His play went down quite a lot, and I don't know if that was just a confidence thing. And we thought, oh, maybe we could boost his confidence, and he's back to a third-round pick, or he's just done. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I think
maybe
like
that's
just done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. That's not me trying to be disrespectful here. I mean, no. But looking at it, people like Castro Fields and Wild Goose have actually been talked about during this camp. They've been saying that they've been playing quite well. Danny Johnson's still there. Percy Butler's still there. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
And most of those guys are young, man. They're under 24, most of them, if not all of them. Under 24
Reeves as well.
I think there's only Kendall. Who's over 25. I think in the whole the DBs.
How old is Jeremy Reeves?
Revo. If he's all pro, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. All pro Revo, exactly. That's really good. That. But yeah, so the DB depth, I agree with you completely. Is looking.
You're right. He's 26,
really
mate. He's 26.
Okay.
So
today the practice took place in the bubble. Apparently the air quality index was sky high. They took note from the doctors and decided, we're going to play it indoors in the bubble. And this is to do with that smoke that's come down from Canada. Basically, half of Canada's on fire at the minute, if you haven't seen the news. And he's travelled all the way through the east coast of the States. And there's some quite good looking pictures of New York, actually, at the minute. It just looks like a desert. With sandstorms and all sorts everywhere. Yeah, really yellow completely. Wow. Like looks like the end of days, which is quite interesting. Tight end room. We need to talk about this tight end room. It's been talked about a lot. We talked slightly about Logan Thomas there, saying Logan Thomas is going to come back. He looks good. They've really, really talked about Logan, saying he looks very, very good. You were saying off pod there that it's what you want to hear, and were you saying it's normally like the following year that you
because basically when you get a big injury, especially like that, and especially in the NFL, it's normally a 12-month period to get back. Now Logan came back about 7 months in, which we thought was insane, to be honest with you. And he was nowhere near ready. He was nowhere near fit. You can tell he just wasn't ready. And usually though, but with the normal ACL, you kind of repair it, you rehab it, you're back in 12 months usually. Then you play a season, which they're never normally at the best. They never are. And then it's the season after that. So really, you're looking at 2 years, really, to get back to where you were before the injury. And as you mentioned there about that he's looking sharp, he's looking like his old self. It kind of fits the perfect time. And again, you know what I mean? So being that's basically 2 years since his injury, since he's been back from full 12 months from his original injury being fixed, but also a full year under a full season as well under his belt. So, man, I think the timing kind of works, and it tends to happen quite a lot to a lot of players, not just our dudes.
Yeah, I really hope he does well. I mean, if he's looking anything like his 2020 self, we are going to be quite.
We're going to be laughing because, we're going to be laughing because there's a lot of talent in the tight end room. It's raw, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of quality there, a lot of athleticism. And,
I think
if EB can get, anybody can get the tight end working well, it's EB. So
Absolutely. I think Ron mentioned every single one of them in his press conference by name, which is obviously what you want to see, what you want to hear. Again, they were mentioning Sadiq Charles. He said exactly the same. One word straight out of his mouth were exactly the same as what you've said for the last 2 weeks. The biggest thing for Sadiq Charles is his health. He has to stay healthy. But at the moment, he is obviously the presumed starter at left guard. But Chris Paul is nipping at his heels.
Yeah, man, don't
don't
rule
sleep
it out,
on
man.
him.
Don't rule it out that he could be starting by the start of the season. Mm-hmm.
And then really, that's it from training camp. They're on this mandatory mini camp at the moment. They've came in, they've done the media day. They've had these 3 days where they've been in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now that is them. They've got one more OTA on Tuesday, where they're going to come in and train, and then that is it for 6 weeks. So what we're going to talk about in this 6 weeks.
But
I've
what
got
is
no
that?
idea.
I mean, I'm hoping it'll be just the ownership finishing. But
I hope so too. I hope so too. I really do.
But yeah, man, I don't really understand that, to be fair, why it's such a long period in between. I understand, they've been working hard and they probably need a little bit of rest, sure. But surely you don't. You go, by the way, you've been working your ass off and you get yourself into a real tip-top shape. And then you go, well, now you've got 6 weeks now before we come back and see each other again. Doesn't really make sense to me, that. I mean, I know it's something that probably happens every season all the time, but it's kind of like, well, this just kind of messes with my head a bit.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've never really broke it down like that, or even thought about training camp like that. And this is happening, that's happening, and the way that it's structured. But you're right in what you're saying. In other professional sports, if we look and we take our football in soccer, you don't go to pre-season training and then go, right, lads, you've got 6 weeks off. Yeah, it just
doesn't work, does it? You know what I mean? You get your rest at the start, like in the true off season, and then that's it. You're there then, and so it's a little bit weird. Now we understand the rookie bit, and then get the rookies intertwined with the newbies, with the original cast, shall we call it? I understand that bit, but then all of a sudden, so you start getting used to each other, and then it's like, I don't want to see you now for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
what's that about? You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense.
I don't know if this is mandated by the NFL and around players' safety. I'm not sure how it works. I know we were obviously restricted as well by a week, so we had a week taken off it was a week.
Oh yeah, for being too physical,
being too rough last year. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that kind of rule? Now I understand why. The PFA or whether they are, the
NFLPA,
the NFLPA team who are trying to look after their players, and I get it. But then the thing is, I always find is like, well, you do that, but then you're not conditioning these guys properly before they start the season, and then they get hurt anyway.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So what do you do there?
It's funny, isn't it? How many times do you see it as well where you look around the NFL, you pick your phone up and you look and you say, XYZ's first round pick, they're out for the season. XYZ's veteran, who's an amazing left tackle, buff, out for the season. And they always seem to be down in that first week of training camp.
Yeah, someone at the moment they're all non-contact injuries because obviously we're not allowed to have any contact. Mm-hmm. The problem is though is that the contact is that you got to train your body to take that contact.
That's it.
You see what I mean? It's like when you play rugby. We both play rugby. If you just went, no, you know what? We're not going to tackle each other. We're just going to let you roll it around like all pre-season. What the fuck's that about? Do you know what I mean? Like your man would blow off, wouldn't it? If someone said that to you.
You get battered, you get absolutely battered in the game.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand it, man. I don't understand that. So
no, I don't get it either.
I mean, okay, you can lose a player any time. That's the problem. Like say you can have a non-contact injury first week. You could be hammering each other all day, and be totally fine. So I mean, as in like, bang, 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 the contact, the high contact, full contact all the time, and be fine. Just a bit battered and bruised because you've been hitting it, but you're not injured like you're out for the season. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's just luck of the draw sometimes. But I don't like that. I understand the reasons, but I don't understand it as a player because I'd be thinking, wait there a minute, like, I mean, I'm not tackling anybody now. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to be going into a 2 weeks before a pre-season game, and then just starting to start hitting each other, and even that's not full power. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, I mean, like, and then you get hurt, so it's easier.
Yeah, and again, I do then now think to myself, what's the fuss about then around Chase Young if we're going to go this way? Because if we're going to have 6 weeks off, does it really matter that he missed a few training sessions? That Leno wasn't there, that Sweat wasn't there, people kicking up an absolute fuss, shouting at people's wives on Twitter. I mean, get a grip of yourself.
I mean, yeah.
Honestly,
I think the problem is,
it's
I think,
just,
yeah, I think the problem is because literally you've only got. I mean, how many days is total for these things? Maybe
I don't
3 days
know.
from. I mean, you maybe got maybe like actual 10 actual days where you actually training
Yeah.
over a spread out period of time. A couple of weeks or whatever it is, 3 weeks. So why can't you be there? I think that's probably what a lot of
I
the
understand that. I
fans are a
do
bit like,
understand.
mate, come on, you're for 6 weeks now. Just get your ass in there early. You know what I mean? Do what you need to do, and then you got 6 weeks to, well, not to chill, but just to maintain your fitness and that's it.
Yeah, I think we agreed, haven't we, before that we've seen it as a bit of a slight in some ways because he does have that Chase Young, especially, who's caught most of the flack. He does have that leadership role, if you like. Even if he isn't a captain, he's still a high draft pick. He's that go-to character guy where in the locker room he'll be that rah-rah person. Why hasn't he done that with his own teams? But as you said last week, you don't know. He may have paid for these sessions with Von Miller himself, and thought to himself, I need to train at altitude. I need to be away in Denver, where I know I'm getting this here. And he might not trust the coach, not the coaching staff, but the medical staff and the rehab that he's been offered at the facility. People do their own rehab. People don't always trust what they're hearing from doctors within their own team. How many quarterbacks do you see, like even Sam Howell now, how many go back to their high school coach or to, their coach from college? They all do that. They very much all do that. I know Sam Howell's done that in the off season as well. So what's the difference between Chase going to get rehab?
No, exactly. And obviously the thing is that he's rehabbing with Von Miller. Okay,
he is, yeah.
Because Von Miller's obviously blown his ACL at the moment and he's out. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, so he's probably getting all these extra veteran kind of quality, just little tidbits that you just don't get from anybody else in our room. Because at the end of the day, the only person he actually respects is Kerrigan. That's the only person he respects, and all the players. He's going to ask John Allen, I'd just go about like getting on this block or that block, because they don't do that. You see what I mean? Like, and Montez Sweat, he's not that, oh my god, blow my mind, 25 or 18 sacks a season guy. He's not one of them dudes. So you're not going to you talk each other, you get little.
I think they're really good friends.
When you're looking at actually objectively, you're looking at kind of, Von Miller's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. Once he's in, once he retires, and he's eligible, he's in the Hall of Fame straight away. He was that good. Okay, he's getting on now, but he was that good, and you can understand why he can see why I think Chase goes, you know what? I understand. I want to hang out with him, even though he can't be 100%, but he'll give me loads of info, loads of different little things that he might not be getting taught anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to me on both. I can see it from both argument and standpoints. I've got no issues with it. But at the end of the day, he's back and he looks like he's doing well. So that's fine by me. We've got a few questions coming for the show tonight, Scouse. So Darren H has asked us, if you look at the NFC East and you were to steal a player from each of our divisional rivals, who would you steal and why?
Oh,
interesting, that one.
Good question.
Very
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I've got one that pops up my mind straight away from Dallas. Okay. That's Micah Parsons. Yeah. Take Micah Parsons, playing back at actual linebacker. Imagine having him and Davis together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty phenomenal, man. I mean, that guy's an absolute beast, and so much pressure that he can actually create. I mean, Dallas are even trying to move him to DN now because he's that good at the pass rush. But imagine if with our pass rush, and then you've got him in the middle of the line. Oh my god, that's just some serious pain for the other teams right there, because you can't block everybody. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean that would be unbelievable. I mean that would really set your defense like from a probably top 3 to first. Just having that one guy change.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at that. I mean, I would have said Micah Parsons straight away out of there, but I don't want to be I don't want to be the same as you. So I don't know. I'll go with Zach Martin as at right guard. He's a pretty good
Okay.
right guard.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah. All pro.
Consistent,
Mm-hmm.
all pro, always there. I'll take Zach Martin from the Cowboys. That's where I'll go with that. I can't believe we're saying their name on this podcast.
Cheers.
Anyway,
Who was it? Who was it who said it was? Who was it?
it was Darren. It
Darren.
was Darren.
Yeah, cheers, Darren.
Cheers,
Cheers for
Darren.
that one, mate. Yeah.
So I'll take Philly, and I won't go the obvious one. You might think it's obvious, but I won't go obvious. It's going to be Jason Kelce, no doubt about it in my mind.
Right, okay.
You love him, I know that, Scouse.
Yeah, he is quality.
He is the best center in the entire NFL.
Even at 38.
Yeah, what is a position we've really struggled with? It's center. So if you can upgrade that completely, with the guy who is the best in the entire game, yeah, plug him in, play him straight away. Imagine that. Jason Kelce and Micah Parsons. Yeah, we're winning here. We're doing quite well, Scouts. Where are you at with the Philadelphia Eagles then?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kelce's obviously one of my favorites, but there's other dudes there. I mean, there's so many good players on the Phillies team. Like, I'm probably going to go Lane Johnson, actually. Right tackle.
Wow. I was going to go there. I like Mailata as well, though, as their left tackle.
He's not as good as Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's an absolute beast, man. And you have him playing right tackle, and then what you can do then is and then you can just bring Cosme into, even just put him left guard and have Riley at right guard. And that offensive line then looks like absolute stack just having him on as a right tackle. So give me a bit of that.
Would you not look at Jalen Hurts?
I was thinking about him, but then I thought, for me, he's got to do it more than one season. For me, if he does it again this year, then I'll say, yeah, he is creme de la creme. Until then, he had a good season. Okay, brilliant. So did Joe Flacco 1 year. So did this other guy 1 year. You see what I mean? Like, there's loads of guys who've done one season wonders and done well. So if he can do it more than what Trent Green as well, another one, so if he can do it again, then I'll go, okay, yeah, he's the real deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So at this moment, no, I would not pick him, even though maybe next season, maybe I'll change your mind and say maybe it would be him if Howell's bad,
So now then, it's the New York Football Giants. And I don't know if you've got their depth chart in front of you, but I'll let you try and take this one away, or I can go first.
This is more of a tough one for me, really.
Okay, I got a player who stood out immediately for me again. So,
I mean, there's one guy, but again, it's like if he stays healthy, then yeah, you know what I mean. And do you know this? Do you know what I'm about now?
Yeah, I do straight away.
Yeah. Darren Waller. Yeah. Darren Waller. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Darren Waller. No,
I thought you were going to go Saquon Barkley.
No. We got quality running backs, mate. We got quality running backs, but obviously Darren Waller, man, is an absolute beast when he is healthy, man. He is a top 5 tight end, and like Logan at best is probably top 15.
Yeah, top 15.
I mean, this guy's top 5. If he's 100% firing, he is top 5. So, for me, it's him. But again, it's big risks because obviously his health.
So I'm going to go with the left tackle in Andrew Thomas. I think he is absolutely brilliant. I think he is a top 5 tackle in the NFL now for me. I think he's fantastic at that left-hand side.
He's definitely got a lot better because he was shocking in his first year, mate. He was bad.
He was terrible. And I was laughing at Pep. I was laughing at Pep thinking this is an absolute bust. He got better in his second year, and then last year he was incredible. So
I think you find that, quite a lot, like rookie left tackles. They're really, really bad in their first season, like across the board. And then the second season they start to get it, and then the third year, that's when they really hit the ground. You know what I mean? Like they're really if they're good players, they are going to be really good then,
Yeah, and that's just a timing issue, isn't it, as well as everything? It's
got to play the game,
how big are these people who are coming against me? Have I got the best of the best running at me best and the best edge rushers running at me every week? You're not getting that in college football. You know what I mean? And if you're a big dude in college football, you can probably get away with
one move, just run over them. That's it.
And compensating.
But that was Chase Young, wasn't it? Let's face it. Coming out of college, he was a beast, but all he had was one move and just ran over you because he was just so athletic. And that's why he got all those sacks. But Yeah, you gotta have more than one string when you're in the NFL. Same with
So,
left
yeah,
tackle as well. You got to have the footwork, you got to have the
yeah.
arms, you got to have the height, you got to have the speed, and also the brain of what this guy's going to do next. You know, trying to preempt it before they even give you any looks. Do you know what I
Strength
mean?
and poise of a bear and the feet of a ballerina. That's what you need.
That's Trent Williams.
It is though. It is.
That's
Yeah.
Trent Williams.
We're not even going to mention that name on here because I'm still sad
Mm,
about that. So we'll
yeah.
move on. Thank you for that question, though,
Look,
Darren. Really appreciate it. Really deep dive. That it was good. I enjoyed that
makes you
one. I
think.
really
Yeah, makes you
enjoyed
think
that.
that one.
It does make you think. Simon Thurston. Simon asked, who is going to be the biggest impact on this franchise in 2023? Is it Eric Bieniemy or is it Josh Harris?
Again, another good question there. To be fair, I think it's going to be EB, and I think it's EB because he's there with the players.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? He can change the product on the field, where really Josh Harris can't. I know he can with some money and all that, but being honest, he's not going to throw out ridiculous money straight away. All the main free agents right this season is going to be have already gone, the good ones, and it's pretty. To be fair, they're just waiting on approval for Cam Kilt's contract, so there's going to be no money left. Let's face it. So they're not going to be able to do anything right now or this season to really make it like they're going to be the biggest, the biggest thing. Whereas EB's there with the players, he can make a huge difference with this offense, and that's why I'm going to go with that really.
So I agree with you completely in what you're saying around EB. For me, it's going to be Josh Harris. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go the opposite to you, just because I want to play devil's advocate. He can, the sale will undoubtedly follow, and it will hype up the off-field activities, things like suites are being sold for season tickets more. He has an overall say on what will happen with this franchise because we don't know where it's going to be, what the on-field product's going to end up like. Obviously, the on-field product, I do agree with you, Scouts. That dictates exactly how many fans turn up through the turnstiles
and how good business
game.
is. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're not winning, you're shit. You know what I mean? And that's it.
But at the same time, if you're not winning and you are shit, Josh Harris makes that overall decision. Do we cut ties, get rid now? So we may get to October and have a brand new head coach in place. We don't even know.
Yeah, it's true.
And it may not work. He could come in and tear this entire thing up. We don't think he's going to do that.
I hope not. The squad's pretty decent, man. Just need a couple of extra pieces. That's all. Not just need a major overhaul.
This is the thing, you see. I mean, you look at it now and you say to yourself, right, well, Ron Rivera's in. Jack Del Rio's got this defense cooking. We were a top 3 defense last year. Potentially, we're saying we could go better, if not the same. Even if we come out with a top 5 defense, because there's always teams that you don't expect will be up there, and you think, they've been unbelievable.
And we are taking on better quarterbacks this year as well.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So if you can stay in that top 5, happy days, great stuff. It's been a great season for Jack Del Rio. You're then talking about, oh, well, it's time to move on. I want my guys in here. What if you get someone in like the Miami coach who's at the Steelers at the minute, I think, or is it the Steelers or is it Minnesota? Can't remember his name for the life of me now.
I think I know the guy you want about. I'm trying to remember
big defensive-minded coach. Anyway,
he did really well, and he got fired, didn't he? Remember, he was really bad at the start, and then he won like 7 of his last 8, and he still got fired. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
What's his name?
Quick Google search, technology on the run. That's what we're going to do. But Thomas, no, not Thomas.
No.
Anyway, if you get someone in who wants a completely different setup, plays a completely different way, doesn't use the West Coast offense, wants the defensive structure changing over completely to a different set, what happens if you get someone like that in? Is he going to be fixed with Emmanuel Forbes? A 170-pound skinny corner? Is he going to look at Quan Martin and say, yeah, you're not the answer? Is it Flores? Mm-hmm. Is that his name? It was Flores.
Oh, yeah. Flores. Yeah,
Flores. Yeah. Mike Flores. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. It just suddenly came to me there. You get someone like a Flores in. It's Brian Flores, not Mike Flores. You get him in, and it's totally different. And he's blown it up because they're going to want their guy in. You know what I mean? They're going to want their person in.
And that's the risk you take when you take on get a new head coach, because that new head coach is going to go, well, I don't want to keep the same team because I want to put my own taste on it, my own spin on it. So I understand. I can understand. So this is the risk you take, you see, with firing Ron, even for example? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, do you just go, okay, if we do have a bad season, we are getting blown out by teams, and that, do you fire him, or do you mid-season let Eric take over, or do you just let it go to the end of the season and then he gets let go then? But then, as I say, either way, if Ron goes, that team's going to get ripped up.
Yeah.
Because a new head coach, unless Bieniemy loves the guy and he's the guy who's taking over, and if he's not the guy who's taking over, and it's some random external dude, then 100%, man, they're gonna go, no, don't like him, and half the squad will be gone. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be that's the risk you're taking here. With do you trust Ron longer or not?
Yeah, grass isn't always greener on the other side, but neither is.
Well, it hasn't been. It hasn't been greener for us. It hasn't been greener for us for 30 years.
Yeah, I know. But familiarity obviously breeds contempt as well, doesn't it? So you know what I mean. Where does it end?
Well, if one goes and you've got Bieniemy and Bieniemy's happy with the dudes we've got on defense, then he isn't going to rip it up. So that might be quite a nice way, because obviously he's had a season with us. He knows what the offense is going to be doing, because that's his bag. And then obviously he knows how good the defense is, because he's going up against them all the time. So, and obviously if we have a good defense this season in live games, then you really shouldn't want to rip it up. But there is, but as I say, it's all about the ego of the new head coach to prove it that I'm the real deal. This isn't Ron's team. This is my team. Do you see what I mean? So, yeah, there's always going to be something like that going on, and it's just a grey area, because I feel we've got a really good side. There's a couple of pieces, just literally like 2 pieces we need, and we can be really, really good, really elite. You know what I mean? And
it all boils back to that quarterback, doesn't it?
Yeah, quarterback's one, of course. Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah,
always the way.
And that's it. And that's why we're so desperate for Sam to work out, because he's got the talent. So. It's just like, can he put it together and not lose his head in games? Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is, because he's got the talent. It's just, he needs to prove his footwork, sure. But how many quarterbacks in the second season needs to work on the footwork? I think everyone. So even Mahomes, even these other guys, they want to work on the footwork. It's just natural progressions. Of
course, it's even if we got one more touchdown than we got last year. We're averaging 18 points? 18 points a game.
Oh, if you're 25 points a game, mate, you're absolutely flying.
Yeah, you're flying. One more TD. But think about it. If you look at last season as a whole, and as a whole aspect, how many times were we so close and we turned 7 into 3 when we got down the red zone?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Scott Turner's big superstar play calling. Yeah.
But then we wonder why the whole of these training camps that we've had so far has been nothing but pure passing, red zone opportunities, tight end drills, back throws out to the running backs, simple red zone material catches, things that he put in play in Kansas City that you saw Kelsey running out to the flat. You saw, the likes of your Tyreek Hills running through for years. This is the sort of plays that he's pushing through now, AB, for us to run with. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, if we can do that one more touchdown, we'll have more wins on the board. Tougher opponents, I get that.
So much,
but also, if you're saying the defense is as good as it has been this year and it can maintain, that's going to win you games as well. Because for the last 2 years, we have stood entirely on the shoulders of the defense to win us games.
Oh, massively.
Nothing else.
Massively.
Nothing else.
I mean, I think there was like one real big comeback from Taylor. Besides that, it's been all on the D. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think, as I say, it's about time that we actually start helping the D out a bit more. So, hopefully, you'll be able to sort it out.
Yeah, last question then, and it's a bit of a funny one, and thank you, Simon, for that really thought-provoking question, and went a bit off-piste there, but yeah, it really provided a bit of
so basically, you're making my point for me.
I am.
EB,
yeah, I am.
EB,
I am, yeah,
EB's going to be the bigger deal this year.
I did agree with you, but I don't know. I wanted to say Josh Harris, but yeah, you're right. We don't know, do we? Alan's come into us and he said, Carlisle in the Premier League or Washington in the Super Bowl? Well, there's no danger of Carlisle ever getting anywhere near the Premier League, so we can safely tuck that one away.
Hey, if they hire me as manager, mate, 3 years, well, you'll be there 3 years, bro.
You'll never beat the GOAT of Paul Simpson, but yeah, anyway.
I'll be the real GOAT.
to build him a statue. Could be worse. You could have a knockoff Celtic manager as your new head coach. Cheers, Burrows. I have absolutely no idea who this guy is that they've got in.
The guy's called Ange. I mean, what a pussy that is. What a pussy. Some Australian dude.
We love you, really. He's an Australian Greek, isn't he? But there you go.
Australian Greek, mate. The guy's just like, he's got a name like Ange, mate.
He's done well.
You've instantly lost respect, mate. As soon as a guy's called Ange.
He's done well in the Scottish Premier League for Celtic.
Yeah, but so did Stevie G. So what happened there?
I know. I mean, the rest of them, you've got two teams in there who could probably survive in the Premier League and maybe the top end of the Championship, and then the rest of them are playing League One or Two. So anyway, but we've gone right off piece there. So Alex said, Carlisle in the Premier League or Washington Super Bowl. For me, it's without doubt a Washington Super Bowl. I would just love to get on a plane with everybody and from our.
I mean, even if you couldn't get tickets for the game,
do you know what? It wouldn't matter.
Just be in the city, just be in there, wherever it's held. You know, that'd
on
be
the
phenomenal.
Parade.
Yeah, just be in there, like, you know, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would be. Absolutely would be amazing. So our last segment then of the pod today is we're going to break down one of the positional areas, and we're going to have a look at what we think the position, what it's outlined, what the depth chart looks like, what players we will see, and what we think are starters, and who we think potentially has an outside chance of making the roster, ones that you might not regularly see. So I will pull up the Washington Commanders depth chart here, and this week we're going to do the offensive line. We're going to start with the O-line at the and the big boys out in front. So the presumed starters at the moment are Charles Leno Jr. at left tackle, Andrew and was Andrew Norwell there?
No, Norwell.
He is. He is on the depth chart as number one there.
No, he's on depth chart as bench. Full stop. Picking up his P45. That's what he's doing.
So it's Chris Paul. It's Sadiq Charles. Then at centre, Nick Gates. Right guard, Sam Cosmi. Right tackle, Andrew Wiley. And then behind them, we've got Cornelius Lucas, Chris Paul, Ricky Stromberg, Braden Daniels, Ethan Sutherland. And then we're struggling a bit from there. We won't go into the third and fourth stringers.
Well, we weren't struggling with Ethan Sutherland.
Yeah. Keaton Sutherland, Trent Scott, Jared Jones-Smith. Yeah, I mean we're going Aaron Montero. We're going right down into the fourth stringers here.
We've got no depth there, bro.
No,
we've got no depth.
Shyla Larson's the only depth that's in the third.
Besides centre, the rest of them we got virtually none. It's a bit concerning. So
are you concerned? What are you most concerned with the offensive line then? Where are you concerned?
It's definitely the depth and the tackles. We really got no depth in the tackles, especially if you're using Cosmi as a guard.
Yeah.
You know, it's he needs a couple of injuries there, mate. And then we're screwed because let's face it, if you say you lost, Charles Leno, the good news about him, even though you might, if you like him or you don't like him, is that he still plays every week. You know, and you can rely on him, even though he plays hurt. You know, all those types of things. Cosmi's always hurt, and you don't know what he's doing. Wiley, you don't know because obviously he's from a different team. But for my angle, man, I'm more concerned about the depth of tackle more than anywhere, and also like everybody else has mentioned, left guard. Left guard's another one because I'd say Sadiq. You know, he's got some talent there, but end of the day, he can't stay healthy. He's another one who can't stay healthy. So again, you lose him. You've got Chris Paul coming in. Now, again, he could be one of those 7th round steals. Let's hope he is. But until he plays every week and we know what we're getting out of him, you don't know what you've got. So it's very up in the air at left guard. Now, again, you could throw Cosmi to left guard and, you know, he used to play a little bit left side of the
defensive he was left tackle, wasn't he, as well, from college? So
yeah, he was at Texas, wasn't he? And then he played left side of the offensive line. So maybe he could play left guard and play alongside Leno. I mean, that'd be quite nice. You have your Nick Gates as your starting centre. But then a right guard, who you're looking at right guard, you know?
Braden Daniels.
But again, they're trying to play him as a tackle at the moment to see if he can actually be a decent depth piece. At the moment, he's looking bad. So, you know, his footwork isn't good enough. He's lunging too much, etc., etc. So his technique is way off at the moment. So you wouldn't want to start him in the NFL as a tackle unless you really had nobody else left. basically. So you can throw him as a guard if you want, and then you got Wiley. Now again, he can play guard, but you sign him to play tackle. So as I'm saying, you see, it's there's the only real depth is center, but even then, two of those guys are injury prone. So
yeah,
Gates and Larson. So you only got Stromberg, who's the rookie. So yeah, I mean that's the only problem with this. Like the first team, your first five are probably okay. They'll do good enough. They'll be good enough. But as soon as you start getting injuries to them, then we're going to really see some pain.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you're getting down to the Trent Scott right tackle, who's your third?
Yeah.
Who on the depth chart right now is the third string? So you've got Andrew Wiley, Braden Daniels, and Trent Scott. I mean, you do have Cornelius Lucas as the swing tackle, so he can go either side, but primarily he is backing up Charles Leno. And he has been throughout most of these training camps as well, where Leno's obviously not been present through the OTAs. So, yeah, I have a bit of a worry at offensive line. I did want us to address the offensive line
in the draft
through both free agency and the draft.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
would you say we did that?
I wouldn't say 100% addressed it. I'd say probably 70%, maybe 65%.
Yeah, I think we got better.
We got better because let's face it, what was there? I mean, fucking Andy Norwell and Trey Turner would make the.
Yeah,
I'm better than them. I'm better than them, man. I'm better than them. Honestly, that's how bad those dudes are. That's how bad those dudes are. They really are that bad. So they were great when they were younger, but they just lost it. Do you know what I mean? They just lost all the kind of lost too much CTE or something. Because at the end of the day, these guys, man, just running the wrong way on plays, and yeah, it's not cool, man.
So after third preseason game, the final preseason game going into the season, obviously then every NFL team is going to drop from 90-man roster down to 53. I mean, we probably will see a few cuts here and there, but they're not actually allowed to do it. You're only allowed it's one cut now. It's straight from 90 to 53, which then means that a lot of people are free agents and on the market. So would you expect the waiver wire to be quite heavy from Washington, or are we going to end up going, oh well, we'll sign some nobodies again for depth?
Peanuts.
Yeah, or is there a veteran out there? I mean, at the moment, there's still a few veterans out there that are on the market. Dalton Risner is still out there as a left guard, who's obviously played for quite a few years in the NFL, and he's been a Pro Bowler as well. So he surely should be better than Andrew Norwell.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Dalton Risner, because my problem is that because you could say, well, Andrew Norwell was a Pro Bowl guard. Yeah, he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. When he was good. And he came to us and he was absolute dog shit. So this is what he went. Is this guy in his peak years, or is he gone?
20, he's finished. He's 27.
Okay, well, Norwell's 30. So okay, you might have maybe 2 to 3 good years, maybe, of him. How much would he cost? Do you reckon?
2 or 3 million.
Really? For ex Pro Bowl guard, I wouldn't. I'd be asking for at least 6.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, 2 or 3 million, because we're already. If you think about it, he hasn't got a team. We're already in June, so you can't be asking for the world at all.
Or maybe he has been, and that's the reason why he's on. He's not hasn't got a team yet.
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
he knows his worth.
He's 6'5", 312 pounds, which is obviously
it's a good size for a guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and obviously his history's been the Broncos from 2019 through till 2022. He was a second round draft choice in the 2019 draft out of Kansas.
I think he's had a reasonable, a decent career so far. Good. So he must be outpricing himself at the moment. That's probably the reason why he's not got a team.
Possibly. So there's one potentially that we can look at. But
potentially, if we've got this, and that's the only problem. If we've got the dollar or not, that's the only problem.
I do agree.
I think Cam Kale's going to be gone. I think he's going to be the one who's going to be getting signed up, and that's where the money's gone. Personally.
Yeah, what have we got now in cap space? Is it 14 million when we cut Norwell? Like yeah, so it's about 11 million now, and it goes and it'll go to about 14 something when we push Norwell out the door. So if you can take probably 5 or 6 out of that, that's going to leave you with probably around 6 to 7 million left. Also, again, mentioned this last week, we still have not signed Forbes or Quan Martin. they still remain unsigned.
And this is the problem. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think you're going to see Curl get the big extension, but his money's not going to come this year. You might get a little bit. You might get a little taster, like a little taster kind of signing bonus, maybe like a 5 mil signing bonus, because that'll be more than what he's ever earned in his whole career so far. So you got to understand that it's like, this guy's a 7th round pick. He's getting paid absolute peanuts, and the guy's quality. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand why he's holding out at the moment and saying, hey, pay me. He's still got 1 year left on his rookie deal, and again, peanuts. And obviously, the next 4 years, where we're going to get on him is going to be expensive. But maybe give him a little taster, now, so he signs, to make it a little sweet for him. There's a 5 mil, because that'd be more than what he's earned in his 4 years.
Yeah, 100%.
You see what I mean? Like, just having that. So,
and I mean, I've heard other podcasts and people talk to Greg, his dad, and said, when he had his little outburst and said, it's funny, 20 million, that's what he was saying he wanted. He said, I just threw that number out there on purpose and just said, 20 million, that's what it is.
See how you go. Yeah.
And it's not. But funnily enough, talking
he won't
get
you about 20, but
talking about Cam Curl, PFF have released their top safeties within the NFL, and the top safeties are Derwin James, obviously, Jalen Petrie, Kyle Hamilton, Budda Baker, Jaquan Brisker, Jaquan Brisker, Grant Delpit, and Cam Curl. Cam Curl was in that conversation. He has been rated by them as the 4th best safety in the entire NFL.
And I think that's valid. I definitely think it's valid. I think he's probably top 3 personally. But yeah, I mean, it's I think it's quite a good spot for him. That I think. And
but if you're a 7th round draft pick coming in and you're now being touted as the 4th best safety in the entire NFL, he's going to want to get paid. Yeah.
Of course, he's probably going to want top 4 money. See what I mean? Yeah. If he sees that now and goes, well, if I'm 4th best, I want 4th best wage.
Which is what, 16 and a half-ish a year?
Something like that, yeah. Because I think Derwin's at 19, I think, and he's number 1. 19, so, yeah. Who's the other guy? Who's the Petrie? Is it? I think he's still
Jalen
on a rookie.
Petrie,
he's still a rookie, isn't he? So he's a rookie contract. So he's on cheap.
Grant Delpit's on a lot of money, and so is Budda Baker.
Oh yeah, Budda Baker always will be, but he's getting on a bit, isn't he, Budda? Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, he's definitely up there with them. I mean, I'd say I like Cam over all them, because Cam can do more than just one position. And I'm talking like, don't get me wrong, those guys are class players, but they play one position excellently. Like Curl does it excellently across 2 or 3 positions, and that's the difference. That's the difference, and that's why I think he probably is. He's well there. I think he's up there with Damon James. To be fair, maybe you could even say just as good, if not better, because he's versatile and his play doesn't drop off. You know what I mean, like anyone can put, you know what? Yeah, I'm a safety. Yeah, well, I'll throw you in at linebacker for a bit. But your level's going to drop because it's not your position. Do you see what I mean? His level doesn't drop. That's the difference, and that's why he's that good and he's that important, and that's why he should be worth the 14-15 mil per year.
Yeah, I just think he hasn't got that name recognition.
I'd give him that, isn't it? But he's starting to get it now, so let's get him signed up before he starts getting. You know what I mean? And let's get him signed up now before he starts thinking that he is a top 5 safety. I mean, to be fair, in his own mind, he probably thinks he's the best safety.
Yeah, probably does.
And I would as well. And he wouldn't. And not many guys could argue.
Yeah,
if you can see him, if you watch him every week,
100%,
how important he is.
I think
we don't get the national coverage. We don't get the national coverage. That's why he doesn't get a great name. That's why he's not well known, and he's not as big as these other guys' names and reputations. But no one really sees him. If he was playing for Dallas, exactly, he'd be number 1. He'd be number 1 or the best in the world, the best ever, because he's that good. It's just that 100%. We don't get to see on. We're not that good on. We don't get to play that often on national TV. So when we get talked about, it's always shit. It's never anything good about the players. You know what I mean?
Well, let's hope that changes soon, Scouse. Anyway, but I think that's going to do us for the week. It's been as we thought it was a bit of a quiet week. We still ranted on Finelli and Howell there, so we've done well as always. Again, but yeah, these next 6 weeks might be a little bit quieter. We might have to try and have a bit of a think in the background about what we're going to do with regards to the pod. We're not going to stop. We'll keep the mic rolling, but we might have to mix it up a little bit, maybe get more guests on, try and understand their stories again during the off season, and then roll it back round when we come back into training
Get a couple more Yanks, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But if you've got any ideas and you want to talk to us and tell us, look, this is what we think should happen.
By the way, did you do Viscount's? Did you do Viscount's question?
I didn't know if you got it.
You missed it. We missed it last week, didn't we? So, so shout out to Viscount if you are listening. Sorry, save you to last, mate. So what was the question? Did you write it down? You didn't get it?
No,
you haven't got it.
I haven't got it to hand. No. Oh,
bloody hell, mate! Give me a second.
I'll give you a second. Yeah.
You're letting the side down there, Hartley.
I am.
It's not me, Viscount. You know what I mean? It's not me.
No, it's your show, Scouts. We know that. But but no, if you've got any questions or you want to follow us, you can catch Scouse as ScouseAndy20 on Twitter. Myself, I'm ScottyH84. The podcast itself is also on Twitter. It's 1.safety4. Please reach out to us, and if you've got anything that you think, that'll make it better, with more guests, if you want more different segments, if you want us to answer more questions, please come back to us. Any feedback is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. I second that. So I found it, Viscount. How do you think, or we think, we will do against our divisional rivals, home and away?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the ideal is that you're going to split, aren't you? And you're going to go 1-1 all the way along, home and away, home and away, home and away, and that's how it's going to work. Mm-hmm. I would say again. Let me think here.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It is, very tough. So
we've got some good sides. We've got some good sides, and obviously depending on what week we're at as well. Because when you look at like what weeks we play these guys,
I think we're going to go. I think we're going to go 4-2.
4-2.
So I think we'll win against 2 wins against the Giants. 2 wins.
Man, we've not beaten the Giants, mate, in forever.
I know.
And you're saying we're going to sweep them?
I do.
Unlikely, bro.
I think we sweep the Giants, and I think we get a win against Philly, probably at home. And I think we win on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the schedule now, right? So we play the first time we play an in-division rival is week 4.
4, yeah, Philly, isn't it?
Yeah, away at Philly.
Won't win that.
Yeah,
that's a no.
I think we do. I think we smoked that one because we beat them last year there as well. We beat them last year there, and we'll win that one. So that's 1-0 for me there.
Okay.
Then you're saying no on 1. Right?
No, that's 0-1.
And then we've got week 5, week 6, week 7. We've got the Giants away.
That's a win. That's a win for me.
Yes, okay, I'll go for win. I'm going to go for win with that one as well. Okay.
So you're currently 2-0.
Yep.
I'm 1.
Yeah, this is how it's working, bro.
Okay.
Right. Then we've got the following week, literally the week after, we've got we're home to the Eagles.
That one for me is a win. So I'm at. And
I think we lose that one. I think we lose that one.
Okay. So I'm now at 2 wins, and you are at 2 wins too.
And then we've got home to the Giants 3 weeks later.
It's a win again. You've got to have a win there.
I'm gonna say win that time. I'm saying winning. Yeah. So I'm saying sweep. Fuck it. Let's sweep them.
Yeah, sweep them. So that's 3-3. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on that 4-2. I'm there. That's 4-2.
You're already there. Yeah,
it's the 4-2.
And then after that game, we've got literally the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Which is what we win that.
I think we win that one, even though it's away. I think we win that one because we've done it last time, and we know to get it done. And I do think we lose the last one. I think we lose the last one to Cowboys at home.
So you're 4-2, yeah.
So there you go, mate. 4-2, bro. 4-2, Viscount.
4-2. That's exactly where we.
And let us know what you think as well in the messages.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, that just about does us. So thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in again. As I said, we will be back next week, and we will catch you soon. Have a great week and a great weekend. Take care, everyone.
Bye.